Jamal Niaz here with Eddie Hearn just after the Conor Benn, Chris Van Heerden press conference. Conor Benn, massive test for him after the brutal Chris Algieri knockout. Lots of storylines heading into this one.
Yeah, I think normally it's the emotion you see from Conor Benn, but this time around, understandably, what happened to Chris Van Heerden was tough to take for him, and that's going to, really motivate him in this fight. Like, how tough Van Heerden is anyway, but look at the passion that he's fighting with. So I think it's going to be really a good test for Conor Benn. The fact that it's a southpaw, of course, the first of his career so far. He's a big welterweight. You saw that up there. The guy's going to be probably 160 in the ring. But Conor Benn's looking fantastic, really spiteful, and I believe he's one of the best welterweights in the world. In
terms of the performance he has to put on Saturday, you'd have to think that he'd have to get it done inside the distance. You'd have to get a finish because the names that you've been discussing, Danny Garcia, Brook, even Amir Khan's been mentioned as well. Just in terms of a name that you'd like to pick for that next fight.
All of those. I like all of those. I like Mikey Garcia, I like Adrian Broner. But this is the fight. After this one, we have to go into a big fight and a bigger test. I disagree about having to stop him. Just got to win, and gain the experience. But he needs a big fight, and any of those names you mentioned would be great for the summer.
Next week, I know it's been brought up. Tough promotional gig for Frank Warren heading into that. If the shoe was on the other foot and you was promoting it and Tyson Fury was nowhere to be seen, it'd be a difficult one. How would you have dealt with that?
I don't know. I mean, look, it hasn't been easy for him because Tyson Fury's been locked away in camp and Dillian Whyte hasn't said anything. But it's still a big fight. Obviously it won't do the numbers that it would have done with a sort of big 8-week build-up, but it's still a very good fight. And I haven't envied Mr. Warren on this one. I've actually felt sorry for him quite a few times because it's not easy sometimes to deal with some people that don't want to engage. And I'm sure next week there'll be fun and games.
You said that you might be there on Saturday night. I spoke to Frank yesterday. He said he's not going because they'd probably put him in the gods. In terms of the access that you get for this, do you know the sort of access you get in terms of what Frank's offering?
I wouldn't imagine the hospitality would be great. But, I want to see Dillian Whyte win, and whether that's in the stands, whether that's from my sofa, I'm sure I'll be tuned in.
In terms of where a win for Dillian would rank amongst the matchroom fighters' greatest moments, where would it rank for yourself in terms of how proud you are of a fighter in a victory?
Well, Dillian's always been a guy who's had a fight-by-fight agreement with us because we've both been very loyal to each other. So, you can't call him a matchroom fighter on paper, but I call him a matchroom fighter because we've both been a big part of each other's journeys. We've backed him during very difficult times, had his back all the way. He's had our back, and I want to see him win next Saturday night, and I believe he can.
Maxi Hughes, Ryan Garcia, could that happen this year?
Yeah, I think when you look at the lightweights available, I think Maxi Hughes has done more than enough to deserve that shot. I said we can do that fight in Yorkshire, we can do that fight in America. I want to deliver a big fight for Maxi Hughes, and Ryan Garcia, great to see him back, big star, and he wants another fight before he goes into a Gervonta Davis or those guys, and I think Maxi would be a great opponent for him.
Things came a bit full circle earlier in the year when I brought up to Conor McGregor an interview that me and you did a couple of years ago, talking about you'd be open to working with him, and I brought it up to him, and I've seen that you shared it. What did you make of the comments? And he was full of absolute praise for matchroom boxing.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, look, Conor McGregor is a legend of fight sports, a great self-promoter. He obviously appreciates class when he sees it, and if we ever got a chance to work with him, it'd be tremendous. He can box, he can fight. He comes from an amateur boxing pedigree as well. And we'll see. I'm not sure we'll ever work together, but it would be an honour. Yeah. I think he's a great entertainer.
The landscape's changed since I last asked you this question. Last time you said it would be Paulie Malignaggi. You'd like to promote a fight between McGregor and Malignaggi. In today's landscape, would there be a guy that you think, right, that'd be a cool match?
The Jake Paul fight makes sense, but there's a big difference in size and weight discrepancy. But Conor McGregor's a huge star. He can do what he wants and make money. So good luck to him.
What was your experience like at UFC London? Because the stars that they have, you're flying Molly McCann over to Katie Taylor fight.
Yeah, no flights, just tickets. Steady on that one. But no, it's amazing. The hospitality from Dana White. He sat me right next to him. He talked me through the whole night about what was happening. Yeah. It's a tremendous brand, great business, and it was really enjoyable.
Tom Aspinall, main eventer, he's former sparring partner of Tyson Fury and had a professional boxing record himself. I think he had 3 wins, and he's keen to get back into the world of boxing at some point. From what you saw from him in that main event, is that someone that you'd like to work with?
I don't know, it's the first time I've seen him. They're all talented guys, but boxing's a different beast, as is MMA and UFC. But great to see so many Brits doing so well in MMA.
I'm going to leave it there, Eddie. Thanks so much for your time.
Cheers. Go, guys. You get it tomorrow, right?